Welcome to the Literacy Teachers YouTube channel, where we help you inspire, motivate, and change how your students read and write for academic success. In today's video, we are continuing on with our series about reading identities, and we are focusing on how reading identities impact your students. Now, there's three things that reading identities are going to do in terms of shaping how your students do or do not improve as readers. First of all, reading identities inform if your students will read at all, okay? So students that have really positive reading identities, and when I say positive, I mean students who obviously think that they're outstanding readers, but also students who think they're pretty good readers. So those students who think they're pretty good readers might say, yeah, sometimes I have some problems, but overall, I get most of what I read. I'm pretty good at it. Those kids are going to be more likely to read what you assign or at least give it a try. Your students with negative reading identities who say, hey, I'm no good at this, it's too hard for me, especially by the time they get to 4th, 5th grade on up, they're starting to check out. And from their perspective, reading is always difficult. They never understand it, so why bother? So those kids are highly unlikely to read or even try to read things that you are assigning them. Now, the second thing that reading identities are going to do is it's going to shape how your students participate in class. And I'm sure you can guess where this is going, right? Your students with the positive reading identities are going to be the ones that raise their hands to talk. They're going to offer ideas. They're going to be asking questions. They're going to be helping out their classmates. They're going to be more engaged. Your students with the negative reading identities are not going to be raising their hands. They're not going to be trying to offer ideas. They're not going to be asking questions. And this is really because they don't think they have anything of value to offer. And they typically think that the questions that they would be asking are going to be viewed as pretty basic and, kind of embarrassing and show everybody that they are not a strong reader, right? Now, the third way, and I think this is the most interesting and also frustrating, concerning way that reading identities are going to impact your students, is it's going to shape if and how they apply instruction. So again, right, your students with the positive reading identities, they're going to be more likely to take up any kind of instruction support that you have offered them and apply it during reading because they see a value to it and they see that they're getting something from it. Your poor readers, and I shouldn't say your poor readers because some of your poor readers are going to think they're outstanding readers, but your students who have negative reading identities, all right, they don't see the point in applying instruction that you're giving them, okay? They think that, hey, I've already got enough evidence here that shows I'm not a good reader and this is really hard for me and I'm just not capable. So why would I be applying, for example, comprehension strategies when I read, right? It's never worked for me before. Why would it start working for me today? So the thing to know about your kids that have negative reading identities is it's not necessarily a question of if they understood and know how to apply the reading instruction you've provided, because sometimes they do. Sometimes they can show you exactly how to apply it. They can explain to you how to apply it. They can even explain the benefits of applying it, okay? Not all of them, but some of them, right? And they just don't see the benefit of it because, again, they've got this long negative history with reading, so they think it's not going to help them. Now, what does all this mean? All right, so students' reading identities are going to shape how they read text, if they read them at all, how they participate in class, and if they apply instruction. So if we don't attend to these reading identities, right, particularly for your students who have these negative reading identities, then you're going to make little progress, right, with those students, right? So I think what has happened is with students who have negative reading identities and who legitimately are poor readers, we've been told that, hey, it's all about the instruction that we as teachers give them. We need to give them better instruction. We need to make sure they're reading texts that are appropriate for them. And I'm not saying that those things don't help, right? I'm not saying don't do that because obviously you should do that. But if we don't pay attention to the fact that they think that they're poor readers and they think that none of this matters and is going to help them, they're not going to engage, okay? So until we start addressing right, the reading identities, the negative reading identities, and working to turn that around, disrupt that, so that students see that they can improve as readers and they can have a positive reading identity, then nothing for that particular group of students is going to change. Now, I know this sounds very depressing, and I apologize for that, but it is reality. And what future videos are going to start talking about is how you start to make these changes and make these inroads with these students.